It's not just about the committee, it's about everybody. Even though they're not part of the committee, they're one of the owners.
This is real. This is not anything made up. I mean, we are actually employee owned. We're doing something different than most companies are doing.
There is a bigger picture. Everything we do at TVF affects not only us, and I think it's powerful to know that we're not alone.
It's not just us little 80 to 90 employees anymore. There's a bigger bunch of people. We fall on hard times. They've got our back. They fall on hard times. We've got their back. It's a big family.
Welcome to another episode of Empowered Owners. I'm super excited to be joined today by four of my colleagues as part of Empowered Ventures. This is definitely the biggest group we've had so far, so we're going to have a nice big group conversation. We're coming on the heels of an annual gathering that we like to do at Empowered Ventures that we call the EO Summit, which stands for the Employee Ownership Summit. A little bit of context: as an employee-owned enterprise, all of our companies have a committee, and that committee can be called an employee ownership communications committee or a culture committee, a lot of different names for these committees. But the purpose of these committees is to kind of spearhead the development of ownership culture and an understanding of employee ownership and how the ESOP works in each of our businesses. So we had a gathering last week recently about what it means to be part of those committees. We bring the committees together, spend a lot of fun time together, learn about how each other are doing this work in their respective businesses. And it's a lot of fun and a lot of learning all combined into a pretty action-packed 2.5 days. So really excited to have one person each from four of our different companies. Today we have Erica Roudebush from TVF. We have Travis Adams from Benoure. We have Amanda Smith from Paramount Plastics, and we have Dennis Casey from Firstar. Thank you all so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for having me.
So just to start us off, how about first impressions coming out of the gathering last week? Some of you it was your first time, some of you it wasn't. What were your first, your first thought impression, just coming out of the event? And let's start with you, Erica.
Well, this was my fifth actual EV summit, so some experience there, but every year that I've been, I leave re-energized, specifically about employee ownership, of course. But first impression is that it just continues to get better and better every year. And I think as we really lean into it and then get to know more people, for me, it just gets better every year.
That's awesome. Travis, I'm going to jump to you. What were your first impressions coming out of the event?
First impression was exciting, meeting new people, new family. It was nice. It was my first time, so it was not knowing a lot of people. It was nice.
Yeah. How did you find that with it being your first time? And I don't know, maybe first time even, traveling to Indiana for work. I'm just taking a guess, maybe. How did you find it? Were people welcoming? At first, were you a little nervous? How did you settle in ultimately to it?
So very nervous. What I got out of the trip the most was getting to know the Benoure coworkers and getting to know them on a personal level. And that kind of calmed me down and allowed me to interact and talk with other people from other companies.
Yeah, I'd like to dig back into that. So that's a really interesting point. So Amanda, how about you? What were your first impressions?
This is my second go round. So it was definitely, I enjoyed just seeing more bodies and the excitement of doing it again, coming back together and just throwing around ideas and brainstorming. My nerves were definitely down a little bit more than it was the first time. I was definitely more nervous to just show myself. So I actually showed more of me and what we were capable of here at Paramount. So yes.
That's great. Dennis, what about you?
As being another rookie to the event, little nerves, at the beginning, but after getting to meet all the great people at at all the different companies and hearing all the ideas that they're doing inside the different buildings. It was pretty exciting. I can't wait to see how we can incorporate some of that stuff into our life here at Firstar.
That's great. Let's stick with you, Dennis, for a second. What were your expectations? Like, when coming into this, like, what were you hoping to get out of it, and what did you expect everything to be like? And was it ultimately, in line with what you were hoping for?
I really don't know if I had expectations. I really didn't know what was coming ahead of me, but I was hoping. I got out of it what I was hoping to get out of it. A lot of fresh ideas, and to meet other people that are actually excited about being employee owners, and it's nice to see. It's nice to meet the EO committee outside of normal business. Just to kind of sit back and kind of meet people in a social setting too.
What, any particular ideas that you'd be able to share, like that you came away from the event with?
Nothing specific. There was actually a bunch. The one thing that I really enjoyed was the idea of bringing in, the new hires into our meetings that we have, every other week or whatever, to show them what their committee is all about, and to see if they have any fresh ideas, that they could share with us, and give them a chance to get excited about being an employee owner.
Yeah. So I think, if I remember correctly, that idea came out of Paramount. So Amanda,
Yes.
could you share a little bit about, I thought that was an interesting thing too, that I had never heard and happen in another employee-owned company. So I think, tell us a little bit about how Paramount, or what this specific thing is that Paramount is doing.
Yes. So when we have new employees, we meet as an ESOP committee every 2 weeks. So whoever's new to the company, we bring them in and let them sit in on the meeting and let them hear what we do as an ESOP committee, what we're all about. We break down a little bit of the share price, just different things that goes on, give them a better understanding. They do sit in on that one meeting. We have changed it where they do have to be employed here for a year before they can actually join the committee. So we have maybe 3 or 4 new employees who will be sitting in with us on March 5th, who are very excited to know what we do. They hear whispers, but they'll be able to actually sit in and hear what's going on.
Yeah. So just to put a fine point on that, so a really new employee, joins the company, and then within a month or so, it sounds like they get the opportunity, perhaps as a group of new employees, to sit in on your employee ownership committee meetings.
Yes.
And just to kind of shadow it, to kind of begin to learn what this is all about. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I can imagine that that's actually really powerful. Do they speak up and have questions and stuff like when they're in the meeting, or do you find they mostly kind of just absorb and kind of later on, talk more offline about what they just experienced?
Yeah, typically they just sit and absorb. I do ask, or we ask if there's any questions. Later down the line, we'll probably approach them again and say, hey, is there any questions? Was there anything that you didn't understand? And just continue to tap into that as the weeks go on.
Yeah, I think it's such a fascinating idea.
Yes.
Travis, how about you? Did the Benoure team come away with ideas to consider, implementing from the other companies?
Oh, absolutely. It was, and just now, hearing from Amanda, I didn't hear it or didn't know what was going on, but that's a fantastic idea. And that's something that we definitely want to think about doing, because it's very difficult to, us as a committee to try to relay this information to practically 100 employees. But we want to share what we have for knowledge of EV and, educate. Absolutely.
Yeah. So talk to us a little more, Travis, about Benoure's kind of, the operations, and how it's actually not very easy for everyone to get together at any one time. And that's kind of what you were alluding to in terms of your committee even having this opportunity to spend some time together. How important is it, do you think, for folks to find that in-person time to connect? And do you guys feel like that's kind of part of what your purpose is as a committee going forward, to kind of help foster some of that connection?
Yeah, we're definitely struggling with trying to get everybody together. We have a ton of crews of people that are they're on job sites. They're from New Hampshire to sometimes New York, Southern Vermont, to try to educate these people when they're not on site. They just, they're losing out. They need this education for sure.
Yeah. And you guys as a committee, by getting together in Indiana, you were able to just spend more time together than you're used to. Did you guys do anything fun while you were together that kind of created any bonding or anything?
First night, yeah, we went out go-karting.
Yeah.
Indoor
Nice.
go-karting. So it was fun. It was beating and banging, hitting the walls, and nobody got hurt. It was a good time. It's a good
That's
time.
awesome. Yeah, safe is probably the most important thing, but were there any obvious winners coming out of it, or was it just everyone had a good time?
There was one or two that was always fast.
Yeah.
Whether you're first or last, it was fun. It was a good time.
That's great.
I think there's some card playing going on in the hotel lobby too, right? With the Benoure
cards.
Yeah.
The last day we ended up going to Indy 500. We went to the museum in the infield.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's really cool.
That's amazing. Maybe we should have done the theme more on racing than what we ended up doing, but that's a good point. So the theme this year was magic, make employee ownership or make ownership magical. Curious what, from a theme perspective, was there any particular connections that you came away thinking, gosh, that really, the magical theme really resonated? Or alternatively, was there anything that we did with that theme that was your favorite part of the gathering?
The storytelling was my favorite.
Tell me more about that. What about it?
So I can't remember her name, but her whole business that she's doing, how she's teaching people how to tell a story, and just having our group of people pull together and have our own ideas and come up with a story of Benoure, about Benoure. She was just setting the foundation and we just put in the pieces. It was really cool. That was my favorite part.
That's neat. What about that? Was it what a part about that was most powerful for you? Was it learning things about Benoure's history that you didn't know, or was it more the act of developing it with your fellow committee members? Or tell me a little bit more.
So it was more of understanding the concept of a story and knowing that you got hardship, and then you figure out a way to come back, and then you plateau, and then you got hardship again. And it just secured Benoure as a whole as being a strong company, and you just all come together, you fix the problem, and you move on.
I love that. So the act of kind of seeing your story, the history of Benoure and the times that challenges were overcome, can kind of help create a shared story that then everyone can unite around. Is that basically kind of what you're saying?
That's it. And I think every company goes through that, but she just brought it to light.
Interesting. Dennis, what did you think about the whole storytelling part?
Oh, I thought it was great. It was cool to hear more of the behind the scenes stuff that I never knew about Firstar. Being only here for 3 years, I don't know everything about the company, but it was, once we went through it, and I was told some of the hurdles that were that we came across the way. It's pretty cool to see how they thrived on that, and they were able to come out stronger every time they jumped over a hurdle. They'd come out a little bit stronger. So that was pretty powerful.
Was your group also focused kind of on the history and the origins of Firstar as kind of the story that you were crafting together?
Yeah. We based it, from the very beginning of Firstar and how it actually came to light by two guys working together for a separate company that went out. They went under, and they decided to team up and come up with Firstar, and the trials and tribulations that they ran into, and so it was pretty awesome.
How about you, Amanda? How did Paramount what did you guys focus on as a group when it came to that storytelling exercise?
So yeah, I did learn a lot about the history. I was just like, wow, why didn't I know this before? Nobody told me you guys were keeping this as a secret. No, but I really enjoyed hearing that history. I definitely think that is major, and that's something that we got to keep continuing to push. So, when ones who retire, we still have that history. That's where the magic started, and we're continuing to make the magic. So we need that history. So I was very grateful to be able to receive that so I can continue to spread it.
That's great. Did you or did anybody, I'll open this up to everybody too, connect the history to the employee ownership moment as well? Kind of the moment when, the company joined EV and became employee owned, and how that kind of connects with the overall story? And let's start with you, Amanda. Did it feel like a natural part of the story, or did it feel like kind of like a separate story almost?
I'd say natural, but at the same time, it was something that just came about. You know what I'm saying? It was a surprise to everyone who had worked here and who's still working here. They're like, wait, what's happening? So that transition was scary, but look at us now.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Dennis? You spoke up and said, yeah, that's something you guys also incorporated.
Yeah, we did. And it's funny. The whole story changed from the moment that Firstar became part of, the ESOP. It was like an aha moment where everything was going along okay, but then bam, it seemed like that was a turning point where bigger and better things are on the horizon.
Interesting. Erica, how about you? How did you relate to the storytelling exercise?
I did really like the storytelling exercise. Obviously, TVF's origin story. Well, I have known the TVF origin story. I'm lucky enough to have worked here almost 22 years. So of our 50 plus year history, I do think I have a pretty decent handle on the origin story. However, it is a nice refresher too. And also that we do have to continue telling our story, because we don't want that. I think resiliency is kind of what everyone else has, the ups and downs of a business. So it's nice to hear all that history, to know that, yes, moving forward, we're in a really great place and will continue to be. And as for the magic theme, I really love that too. I did love the stand-up magician entertainment that we had one night. Yes. But I mean, he knew who we were too. And I think that entire summit is a reiteration of the commitment that Empowered Ventures has in all of our companies as well. Like, it really shines through how much you care for us and are talking about all of our different companies, because every other person that was part of that, from Sally, the storytelling lady, to the stand-up, what was his name? I forget what his name was, but they knew so much about us too, which is a reflection of you guys, in my opinion. So
absolutely,
that was really magical to me.
Well done, Erica. That was really nice of you. Thank you. Yeah. So what about your favorite, or a favorite moment or an aha moment for you? Like, what's the one thing for you personally that you came away with, like, wow, that really surprised me, or that was a really big aha for me?
My aha was the doing the tour of the warehouse and the amount of product in there. And I forget the guy's name. I'm bad at names, but he did an outstanding job of a tour in there. The fabric in there, it's unbelievable what's going on, what's going in and out of that warehouse. Very cool what's going on in there.
Thank you, Travis. That's awesome. So yeah, Erica, since you represent TVF here, why don't you share a little bit about the tour? So what did the whole group do on the tour?
So TVF here in Indiana, because we do also have a presence on the West Coast in the LA area, we have both an office in Carmel as well as a 150,000 square foot warehouse in Lebanon, just a little northwest of us here in Carmel. So the first day of the summit, everyone did meet here at HQ and got to see our office building, but then we ended on Wednesday in Lebanon with a tour of that facility. So I know in the past we have toured both Paramount and Firstar, and that was always really interesting for me too, to be able to see what our cousin companies are doing. It adds to the whole feeling of ownership and the magic of ownership when you can really understand that it's beyond even just our little company, what Empowered Ventures means. So
Really neat.
For me, when you jogged something for me in my memory. Seeing the facility before and after, how big and how you guys has grown. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes, I loved seeing that. You guys do so much more than what I thought that you did. Of course, I thought, you were a big company making great things, but I was like, wow.
Yeah, true, because it did highlight where we came from. Originally, we stored everything here in Carmel, but now have grown exponentially, especially since we became employee owned.
Yes.
I mean, that is true.
Dennis and Amanda, how about you? Aha moments or favorite moments from the whole couple days?
I think my favorite moment was actually going to the warehouse. It's always impressive to see a facility that big, especially with only a few people working in it. But I mean, it was so clean and so well organized, and you could see why TVF is, the successful company that it is, because the people that are working there were fantastic, and they took pride in everything, and you could tell how it just runs like a well-oiled machine. So that's pretty impressive to me.
I would have to agree with Dennis. Just seeing that warehouse, that was probably one of the things I was waiting on the most. So I definitely enjoyed that. Just being with our cousin companies, breaking down those walls, whether it was being nervous or just, just opening up a little bit more. Those were highlighted points for me. I definitely think Paramount as a whole really showed what more we could bring to the table. Last year, we did say we're in stage 2. We wanted to push that education, and here we are pushing that education. I feel like I'm more excited about that. Like, I'm so excited to learn more about the ESOP and the education portion of it. And I think this week I learned what the breakdown of ESOP meant. I'm just like writing it on everything. This is what it is, So I am just ready to keep pushing that so we'll be able to learn more and understand why we're doing what we're doing.
I love it. This has been fun. I want to wrap up with one question, and we can go do a round robin again on this, go around the table. So last question would be, what's kind of one thing you wish everyone in your company, now that you're going back to your business after going through this event, what's the one thing you wish everyone in your company knew about, employee ownership, the ESOP, being part of EV? And let's start with you, Amanda.
This is real. This is not anything made up. I mean, we are actually employee owned. We're doing something different than most companies are doing. So just pulling out that education portion of it and really drilling in the facts. This is a great company to work for. All the companies are great companies to work for, and just keep pushing that. What am I trying to say?
Narrative,
that empowerment, the story. Yes, keep pushing that story and keep growing as a company and as cousin companies.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Amanda, and that it's real and it's not just us, that there is a bigger picture, that everything we do at TVF affects not only us. And I think it's powerful to know that we're not alone at Empowered Ventures too, that it is 6 companies really that are all together. So kind of one of those things, like you tell your kids, like, hey, this is bigger than just you. It's bigger than just us even.
Yes.
Love it. Travis, let's go with you. What's one thing you wish everyone in your company knew about, employee ownership, Empowered Ventures, or just coming out of this event?
So I would have to say 2 words: quality and quantity. I think that's what EV is bringing to the table. And I think EV, we should be educating our owners of the quality and the quantity, that it's not just us little 80 to 90 employees anymore. There's a bigger bunch of people, more companies. We fall on hard times. They've got our back. They fall on hard times. We've got their back. It's a big family.
That's amazing. I love that. Dennis, we're going to finish with you on this question. What about you?
I think the thing I wish everybody knew, and I think they actually know, but I think that they take for granted that it's not just about the committee, it's about everybody. It's, I wish that they would, make more of a voice for themselves and not just, rely on a committee to do things. I wish everybody knew that they could be more active, even though they're not part of the committee. They're one of the owners. And I think that if they knew that and understood it a little bit better, that all the committees could be just a little bit better.
Yeah, their voice matters.
Yeah.
Well, this is awesome. Thank you all so much for joining me. I had a blast last week. I came away feeling super energized, and I think a lot of folks did as well. So thank you again for joining me, and look forward to seeing you all in person again sometime soon.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.